Absolutely. So there is a difference between a visitor and a volunteer. A visitor normally doesn't supervise the students. They don't have direct contact with the students, and then they're not involved in supervising the students. Some examples that I would include as far as visitors are concerned would be a parent or a grandparent or a family member coming in for field day or coming to eat lunch with their child or visiting their child's class or grade or maybe some school program during the day. Another example would be maybe class parties. And so, as part of that, they don't have to receive, they don't have to go through the formal background check process, but they do have to check in with the front office, and at that point, it performs a basic background check. Now, a volunteer is more involved. A volunteer is a person who does have direct interaction with the students, with or without other adults present. That would include direct interaction off campus as well, for instance, like overnight field trips and those types of things. Volunteers also work one-on-one with the students on a regular basis. They volunteer to provide instructional assistance or be chaperones during school activities. So some examples of a volunteer would be a chaperone, someone who works with students in the classroom. For instance, we have our Readers to Leaders program where parents or grandparents or other family members could come in and work with children during guided reading time. Another example of a volunteer would be working on teacher projects in the parent room or other designated areas, maybe helping out in the media center, going on field trips, assisting PTO or PTA with projects during the school day. They also must check in at the front office, but they also have some additional steps that they have to go through in order to be a volunteer. They have to clear a criminal background check, clear an FBI fingerprint background check. They have to clear the national and state sex offender registry check. And then they have to complete our mandated reporter training, which is an online training that you can access through our website, either at the school level or at the district level. There's a button on the front of every page, and so they click that button and it takes them through an online video where they learn about the mandated reporter process. Once they complete that process, they take a short quiz, and then it generates a Google form that's sent to the central office. After they've done that part, they have to go to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office to complete their background check process. And then once the district office receives that information back, their ID badge, which identifies them as having gone through this process, is sent to the schools that they've chosen that they will like to volunteer at, and then they are notified that their ID badge is ready. So to be a visitor is kind of walking in and staying a little while, not serving in a supervisory role, but a volunteer is a much more involved process, and it is actually where you do have some one-on-one direct supervisory contact with students.
All right, last question. If I want to be a volunteer, do I have to have a kid enrolled in the school?
Absolutely not. We welcome all volunteers. We have lots of volunteers that don't have children in school. They just like working with students. So we appreciate all of our volunteers. And if you have any additional questions, you can check our websites either at the district level or the school level.